I'm not here to convince anybody. Don't listen too much. Don't even listen to me. A very famous medium called James Van Praagh asked, "Who here is a medium?" And everybody raised their hand except for me. And I'm like, what am I doing here? I never knew what to do with my gift. But since I known about them, I never feel alone. Never. I always feel guided, even when I feel lost. We are here for a very short time. Do what feels right. Your body is the best tool to tell you what's right and what's wrong for you. Because when you're in your head, you're dead.
The answers to your deepest questions are closer than you think. Imagine having a direct line to the universe's wisdom. No more guesswork, just clear vision. Hi, I'm Jill Collins. My special guest today is someone who has been trained by the likes of Tony Robbins and Deepak Chopra, and she has a unique connection to the spirit world. We're going to learn from her on how we can all connect to our spirit guides for those times when we need guidance. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We're here once again. Today, I have Lis Suppo. Lis is not only a dear friend of mine, but she's also a medium and a spiritual life coach. Her gift in life is to help you connect to your higher self and life purpose so you can live the most beautiful and fulfilling life. I just adore Lis because Lis is not only a friend, but she is a mentor. She's a guide. She's a leader in spirituality. And I think you're going to love hearing from her today. So I look forward to your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to hear from you. And also check out my community. I just signed up. I just started a community. Links are below, and you can also check it out in the about section of my podcast. All right, let's jump right in. Welcome, Lis. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Hello. Oh, what a beautiful intro. Oh, I'm so happy to see you there in my country. I can't believe it. Your country and you're in mine.
Yes, I'm in yours. You're in mine. Yes. So Lis and I, we bonded over the years now, and Lis is actually from Argentina, and this is where I live part-time. I have a second home here. So I'm here, and Lis is in the US. And so it's really kind of exciting to be able to connect this way.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Thank you so much for having me, and welcome everybody. I'm so excited to share with you all goodies.
Thank you. I attended a retreat in Ibiza with you. You're really, it was just incredibly, an amazing experience with women. And it was just such a transformative experience for me. I think it was about 1.5 years ago, right?
It was in 2022, was the first retreat I hosted, and it was amazing. It was becoming her, that beautiful being you were born to be. I love it.
Oh, it was great. It was so fun. I know you'll be talking about more about what you're offering and what you do too, coming forward soon in a little bit. So first of all, I'd love to know, how did you come to discover your gifts as a medium and your work in connecting with your spirit guides?
Okay, so first, it's funny. I'm going to tell a story that I shared before. When I was around 11 years old, I told my girlfriend that I said, you know, when you're in the bathroom looking at yourself in the mirror and you see someone staring at you and you turn around and there's nobody there. And my friend looked at me and said, no. And I'm like, what do you mean, no? I thought that everybody had these kind of experiences. And then I started to feel like a weirdo. I'm like, something is wrong with me, because I could feel presence. I could feel myself being watched constantly, and it was scary. So it wasn't until later on in my life, like I was 37 or something like that, that I was in the middle of going through a divorce. And I ended up going to a retreat that I thought it was a soul searching retreat, and ended up being a mediumship retreat with a very famous medium called James Van Praagh. And he asked, you know, who here is a medium? And everybody raised their hand except for me. And I'm like, what am I doing here? And long story short, we started doing exercises about reading people. And he came to me and he said, did you know that you had mediumistic abilities? And I'm like, no, but now that you mentioned, kind of makes sense, because all my life I experienced these things. But I never knew what to do with my gift, because I wasn't called to open it, you know, a psychic place and do tarot reading. I never felt called to do that. So it wasn't until in 2021, when my husband passed away, that it became very clear that if I was able to go through everything I went through and come out at the other end of the tunnel and see the light, that it was my duty to help other people going through things that are tough in life. And so the way I use my mediumship is not to read dead people, but to help people connect to their higher self, their spirit guides, and just live a more happy and fulfilling life.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for the clarity there, because I think a lot of people assume a medium is someone that connects with dead people and that's their role and purpose. And I can see that there are definitely various ways you've explained that there's not just, there are other ways to do that. So,
Yeah.
and I think what's so cool, so I have to acknowledge you for this, because I think we both have experiences having lost our spouses, is that we both taken that path of, okay, so this happened. What can we do good with it? What can we tap into now? And I'm always talking with women and people that I have coached in the past and people that I talk to in my community, is that what is it you want to do now? Like, you have it sounds morbid, but you have an opportunity to do something new. It's what did you maybe put aside? And someone doesn't have to die to have this happen, by the way.
Right.
But it's like, what have you been putting aside that now in midlife you can say, oh, you know what, I want to do this now. I have time for this. And so dust it off or come up with something new. And you've done that and I've done that. I think that's just fantastic. So
yeah, in life, everything happens for a reason. It happens for us and not to us. And it's our choice to decide if we're gonna make the best out of it or the worst. That's your choice.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So let's, for someone who's new to spirituality, we got to go back and dialogue just a little bit. What is our higher self and how can we begin to recognize and communicate with it?
Okay. So we are spirits in human form. So we are basically energy. And our higher self is the wiser part of us. It's our soul. It's the part that never leaves heaven, if you will. I always say it's like a how do you call the iceberg? An iceberg. So we are the top of the iceberg, the part that you can see, and the higher self is the whole iceberg under the water. It's us, it's our essence. And what was the second question?
It's basically, what is the higher self and how can we begin, how can we begin to communicate with it?
Okay, so more than communicating with your higher self, which you can do, it's just quieting your mind and maybe meditating. And there's many ways to meditate. A lot of people are, they don't like to meditate because they think that they have to put their mind in blank. But there's different ways. You can go for a walk in nature. You just can. The thing is just to calm your mind and enjoy. The energy of enjoyment is an amazing energy to connect to your higher self or your spirit guides, angels, whatever you want to connect with, which is your team of souls. They're always there for you to help you live a more, easier and fulfilling life.
That's great. I love that. So, I'm so glad you said that about meditation, because I think a lot of times we think it's like, with Dr. Joe Dispenza, for example, that you have to go into a deep meditation and it takes a lot of time. And a lot of times we don't have 45 minutes or an hour. And so that's personally, it's been a barrier for me. I'll be honest, is that, for you to say, hey, you know what, you can just actually, sometimes you can actually tap in just by being quiet, because I get great ideas when I'm driving in the shower. I feel I get really great downloads and it's just amazing. Just even sitting and looking out the window, just something simple.
Yes.
And I thought, well, I'm not meditating. I'm scolding myself for meditating. It's like, you got to meditate. But you really, that was really helpful, very insightful.
Yeah, there's many different ways. Just do what is easy for you. Sometimes if you can, even 5 minutes of the different kind of meditation like Joe Dispenza, but I think it's better to do anything than not to do nothing at all, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that really goes into the barriers that we often enter, is that we feel like we don't have time, or that we don't know how to do it, or that, it takes a lot of practice, and it's really just, it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how do you differentiate? I have to go back about spirit guides because I want to know a little bit more about that. We talked and how you do this, because this was something that you really introduced me to a few years ago. Is how does one differentiate? Like, what are spirit guides, first of all, and then how do you differentiate between, the knowing what, if we're hearing from spirit guides, or if this is just, thoughts that we're having in our head?
That's a great question. So just know that if you believe it or don't, it doesn't matter. You have them. It's a part of your team of souls. So it doesn't matter. Don't get so caught up into believing or not believing. That a lot of people have that problem. So it's funny because I'm gonna tell you. So the best thing that happened to me during that mediumship retreat that I went to was to learn about how to communicate with my spirit guides, because they have become my besties. I ask them anything from really important and serious things to what should I wear today? If I don't know what to wear, I open my closet and I'm like, okay, what should I wear today? And the way it works is it's like intuition, right? They give you an idea or a feeling or something all the time pops up in the closet. And that's the way they communicate. And they love to help. They're there to help. Angels, guides, whatever you want to call it, they're there to help. So use them. And
Okay.
then do meditations, all kind of things. And it's very subtle. It's a way of discerning between your own thinking and them communicating with you. So the way they communicate is by placing thoughts or ideas or guidance, in the sense that sometimes, that you're just doing something, all of a sudden you feel an urge to do something else. And you think, no, that doesn't make sense. I'm not going to do that. That's them guiding you. Trust me. Do what they are telling you. It's going to be easier. I learned the hard way. Otherwise, you're going to suffer through it. Yeah. So the most important part is talk to them out loud or in your head. Doesn't matter. Don't feel bad that you're talking to nothing. They're there. They're listening. They're hearing, and they're there to help you.
Oh, I talk to myself all the time. I'm sure my Amazon devices are going like, that girl's crazy. They always say intelligent people talk out loud to themselves, so maybe that's it.
Oh, really?
So I have a question, and that brings up another question, because you said intuition. So
Yeah.
what is the difference? How can we distinguish what's the difference between our intuition and our spirit guides talking to us?
Oh, that's good. So intuition for me is more like we're an antenna. Our body is our antenna, and our intuition is the way our body lets us know if this is the right or the wrong thing for us. With the spirit guides, it's more about having, and I'm sure they use your intuition to communicate with you too, right? But intuition is more like natural, more like human in your body, and your spirit guides communicate more through thoughts. But intuition is also one of the tools that they might use to help you.
Okay, so they communicate through thoughts. So it's when we get a thought that we often can say, "Oh, listen to that."
So
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's a good also distinction. How do you distinguish between their thoughts and our thoughts, right?
Yes, that's a good one.
So their thoughts are kind, and they come kind of out of nowhere. Like when you're thinking something, you're like, that's interesting. That's them. Your thinking is more based on judgment or fear sometimes. Their thoughts will never have judgment or fear or any bad feelings.
Okay, that's an incredible distinction, because I think a lot of times some call the ego, is that it's designed to protect us. And so it will, and I always love that. It's like I get in something, and it's like, oh, don't call that person. And then 5 minutes later, call that person. And it's like, wait, what?
What is it?
It's like, which one is it? And that's like, the ego going like, well, it's safe, it's not safe. You can't trust the ego, because the ego is going to just change from moment to moment, and it's going to have an opinion based on how it's feeling safe or not safe. And
Yeah.
so that's
So the spirit guides usually is the first thought. It's never the second.
Good to know.
And also, if you are confused, close your eyes, breathe deep into your heart 3 times, ask the question and the first answer. That's what you need to do.
Oh, okay. So close our eyes, breathe
Deep
3
into
times.
your heart,
Mm-hmm.
let go, do it again 3 times. And that puts you back into your body, into your heart, not in your head. And ask the question, and the first thing that comes into your head, that's the answer. Don't question it.
Okay, that is magic, people. Ladies, if you're listening to this, rewind and take notes on that one. That was good. I wrote that one down too, because that was awesome. That's a really good reset. Way to reset to connect, because sometimes we get so stressed. I know I do, and I'm running around and I'm like, okay, what should I be doing now? That's my former primary question. And so it's like, okay, and then it's this. And sometimes I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I got to slow down. So that's a really good tool. It's like, do I have to drop everything and start meditating now? I don't have time, it's like, so that was a quick little, micro trick, a little hack to get.
Yeah, and also it's good, like every time that I'm gonna work with a client or anything that is meaningful, I stop for a second, breathe 3 times, and then I'm in a different space. I can receive. So the thing about spirit guides also is that they have a high vibration. And us as humans, we have a lower vibration. So we need to try to be like, I can usually never communicate with them if I'm angry or sad or something like that. It's going to be very hard to tap into them, although it's possible, but it's more difficult. So try to find peace and quiet. And sometimes, I have been depressed. Last year I was depressed for most of the year, and I talked to them, and they told me, just it's time to allow whatever it is to be, and eventually you're going to be okay. So I was able to communicate with them, but it's different because you are more in your human experience than your spiritual experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. That's really good to know. Okay, I see that. Can you let's talk about this. Give me a transformative experience that maybe you've witnessed in yourself or through someone else or with someone else that is working with their spirit guides when they were connecting.
Ooh, do you really want that?
Yeah, I want to hear. I think we all want to know. Give us an example of what that looks like.
That includes you. Do you
Okay,
remember? Do you
yeah,
remember?
always tell me. Yeah, of course.
Are you open to it?
Yes.
Okay. So we met in another retreat. There was what was it? What kind of retreat was it?
It was prosperity. It was with
Prosperity retreat.
Yeah.
And you were having a really, really hard time.
Oh, I was having a freaking breakdown. I was like, I could see this battle between my ego and my spirit going like, and I literally just, I was like my body temple was just like fell. It just was like dragging it around, and it was such a battle. I could feel it. And I was so stuck. And go ahead.
So literally you were really struggling to the point that you couldn't even participate of the retreat. You almost vanished at a point.
I collapsed. I couldn't walk.
Yeah. And I kept feeling the tag from my guides, to go and help you, and you didn't want to be helped. And usually I will respect someone that doesn't want to be helped because it's, free will. But it was like, do it. And so I grabbed you, I took you to a room, and we started to do like a healing session. It was so amazing to witness what happened in that room. I saw your whole body releasing all the fears, all the struggles, and starting to breathe again. And you became a different person after that. It was like half an hour of hell, and then it was like being reborn. And it was so beautiful for me to be part of that. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you for honoring your spirit guides and your intuition. And I think that we talked about that after, is just how sometimes when somebody says no, they don't need help, is that you sometimes have to just listen and say, do I need to do it anyway? And yeah, because other people tried to help me, and I said, no, I'm good. No. And then you came in and went, we're going in. And I'm like, okay. And I think seriously, sometimes we don't realize that we need to be pushed a little bit, you know, and this doesn't apply just in this kind of case, but anytime we're receiving is sometimes we need to remember to insist, you know, when we offer something to someone, they say, no, I'm okay. I don't need any help. I'm good. You know,
More than push,
a little deeper.
I think that we need to learn to listen better and don't listen to the words. Pay attention to the body, pay attention to the energy you're feeling, you know, and that's the real listening. The words don't mean much sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. I get that. That's great. It's not always, I mean, there's some people we know that are, you know, we're always like pushy and we'll always force things. And that's not what we're talking about. It's just really that checking in. Is this something I need to pursue more, or does this person really need to be left alone? And I think when a lot of times we tend to, especially when people are grieving, is we tend to not know what to do. So we leave them alone. And that is not always the thing to do, right? You and I've experienced that is.
Well, it is, and it's not. It depends on each person. If you feel called to help, make sure you're coming from a place of love and helping and not a place of ego, right? Because many times, do what I tell you. I know it all, you know, that doesn't help anybody. But if you come from a place of love and I just want to be present for you and give you love, I know the love will always help.
That's beautiful. That's a great contrast, because to see the others that were helping and then you jumping in, and I can see the differences between those that were offering help and your approach. So thank you for that. Well, let me ask you this. How does connecting with our spirit guides impact our relationships and overall life satisfaction?
I call them my peeps. So imagine, it's like having a group of best friends with you all the time. They're respectful, they're kind, they're helpful. It's like having a hotline with heaven, you know, if you believe in heaven or not. So they're always there for you to do better in life. So just the more you practice, the better you become doing it. And it's much simpler than what we are, you know, used to think. It's like when you pray, you ask for things to God or the universe or whoever you believe in. And when you meditate or you ask your guides and you allow that answer, you're getting the answers that you're, you know, looking for. So I think that it's very important in everything in life. It's like having a teacher, a guide, a best friend, a shoulder. You know, since I became, since I known about them, I never feel alone. Never. I always feel guided, even when I feel lost.
That is really peace. That's really reassuring. I love that. Well, I'm going to go off book here. I'm going to ask you a question here. When I was a kid, I always had, like my mother would call them pretend friends. And I would ask them like to protect me or to help me or whatever and I thought that I was just talking to myself. Would that have been spirit guides?
So do you remember if you felt there was someone or it was just
No, I remember feeling like I had a team almost of people.
Then you have it. You have the answer.
Yeah. I named them, you know, and I had like names, like a name for one, and mother made jokes about it, but yeah. And but yeah, I mean, I remember that feeling, and it was just like
so rewarding. Yeah,
because it was I don't know, it was comforting.
Yes, and it's not you're crazy, you know. What's the worst that can happen? They help you, you know.
Right. Well, that's true. So it's demystifying that whole thing about whether you believe, like you said earlier, if you believe in them or not, they're there for you.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's great. It's nice.
Might as well use them because it comes helpful, you know.
So that would be the next question is about feeling, what advice do you give to individuals who feel disconnected or skeptical about their ability to connect with them?
You know, I'm not here to convince anybody. This is your life, your choice. I'm just here to show by example that my life is so much better since I use these kind of tools that I have learned, and that it's very, very helpful and much easier. If it wouldn't be because of this kind of knowledge, I don't know if I would have being able to go through everything that I went through with the death of my husband, having to move 2 weeks after, and going through, a lot of things that I've been through in my life, like many people watching here. I think it's important that even if you don't believe, I'm sure I teach it all the time, and I a lot of times I do it for free. So if anybody wants to learn more about it, my website is lissuppo.com. We're gonna put some links, I'm sure, for people to sign up and get, the more you practice, the better you become. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Tell us about, you have a retreat or an event coming up, right?
So Becoming Her, the retreat that we that you came to in Ibiza, is now an online program, and it's amazing because it takes women from where they are to where they want to be. Going through limiting beliefs, dealing with forgiveness or fears, or anything that is keeping us stuck, and then designing the life of your dreams, and finally, embodying that goddess that we have inside of us. And we learn a lot of amazing things. And the best part is that I channel most of the teachings that I'm teaching, and so it's very catered to whoever is present in that class. And so it's been beautiful to be part of, and to be able to hold that space for women.
That was a great retreat. I'm glad you're doing it as a program because it gives more women access to it that couldn't necessarily travel to Spain or go somewhere to,
Right. Yeah, that's why I did it. And
Is
it's much,
it online? Is it like a weekly call?
Yes, so it's 5 weeks, every Saturday starting April 20th. And yes, it's an hour and a half, depending on my spirit guides, how long they need. But it's fun. It's also fun, it's what I love about how I use my mediumship is that I make it easy and simple for everybody to be able to use their inner power and communicating with their guides, their higher selves, and how to make your life the best experience possible, because pain is inevitable. We're always going to have painful situations in our life, but suffering is a choice. So let's learn the tools necessary so you can shift your mindset quickly when something doesn't go according to the way you want, and I have become very good at that. Like, for example, in 2021, 3 months after my husband passed away and I moved and everything, and my kids were finally, settled in school and things like that, I was going to take a week off and go to Ibiza just to chill and relax. And it was in the middle of the pandemic, so they cancel all traveling, and they closed the border, so I couldn't travel. And I know that when something like that happens, is either protecting me from something or preparing me for something even better. So that's how I train my mind. So every time that something bad happens, I know it's protecting me from something or preparing me for something better. And so I was working with a crypto mentor at the time. And I said, can you give me another class? Because I'm not going to be traveling. And he says, I'm sorry, I'm going to a private island in the Caribbean to a retreat. And I'm like, can I come? Long story short, 2 days later, I was in this private island. And when I got there, I felt that I waited 43 years to be in that space. And I became really good friends with the owner of the island. And 1 year later, I hosted a beautiful retreat there. And it's been, amazing journey. And it's not all perfect. It's not all great. It's a lot of up and down, and I know that that's life. And so it's important to also show people that we go through struggles, and that's normal. It's what you do with the things that happen to you and how you use them for the better.
Yeah, because it's really a choice, and not every day is a good day. It doesn't have to be, and it's okay.
Doesn't
And
have to be.
it's not like the world's ending because of it.
Yeah.
And it's so comforting to know about spirit guides and to know that that's something that's accessible, that we have them around us. And
Yeah,
I really
for
appreciate
sure.
that for manifesting. And how does manifestation work with spirit guides?
Well, so I don't know if I will, it's more about your energy. I think that I watched one of your shows. I think it was Frances that you were talking about this, and she explained it pretty well. And so what I say about manifestation is you want something, and just because you want it, it's meant for you, right? But the energy of the thing that you want has to match your energy. So if you want, let's say, a amazing relationship with a beautiful husband and the kids and everything else, you want that because you think by having it you're going to be so happy. So you need to match, you need to already be happy and feeling excited about life to match that energy. Otherwise you cannot attract that. So that's manifestation for me. But I want to share something. So when I stepped foot in that island, I heard my guides of God saying, you're going to host a retreat in this island, and you're going to host it with Brittany Turner, the owner of the island. And I thought, back then, I didn't even know I was going to do, mediumship, or I was going to be a spiritual life coach. I was an interior designer back then. And so I looked at her and I said, I'm going to host a retreat here and you're going to do it with me. And she looked at me like smiling, because everybody says that to her, right? But the funny part was that when I hosted the retreat, a lot of things went wrong, to the point that there was a hurricane and many people couldn't make it to the island because all the airports were closed in the States. And I was crying at the airport, talking to God or yelling at God and saying, you told me to do this. This is so hard. Why are you doing this to me? And I heard it was never about selling out the retreat. It was about to show people what you're capable of when you put your mind to it. And my friend, if that's not manifestation, I don't know what manifestation is. And
Wow.
yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great. I've been on that island too, and it's really phenomenal. And Brittany's amazing. Yeah. So, what comes to mind, and when you talked about manifestation and you said that, yes, if we have the thought, it's meant for us.
Yes.
But we have to align
not
with
the thoughts, the desire. If we have the desire of something, because a thought can be a little tricky. It's more the desire. If you really want something, it's meant for you. So don't doubt it. Don't second guess it. Just, it's like when you go to a restaurant, you order a plate. Are you thinking, oh, is it gonna come? Is it gonna come cold? Oh, do I like it? No, you just order what you want and you expect to be amazing. And you just wait. That's manifestation.
Okay. Expect it to be amazing. Okay.
Yes.
And then here's the question I have, because I think this is where sometimes we get into this almost, I would say, manifestation anxiety. I'm going to coin that phrase for a second. Is that you said we have to be in the same energy of what we're wanting to manifest.
Yeah.
What about, like, all of a sudden all this stuff's happening today, or something's going wrong and whatever, and I'm not happy, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not happy. I'm oh my God, I'm going to lose my manifestation. Like, what do we do? Because I think that happens. Like, we got to be happy. We've got to be up. We've got to be, and I also heard something from Reagan Hillier. I've been watching. I went to the Mind Valley Manifestation Summit a few weeks ago. And I love this woman. She's amazing. And she's talking about, like, just having this, thinking about it, having it, and don't change directions. Like, don't say, okay, I want a man that's like this, and this. And then all of a sudden the next day it's like, I want a different one, because the universe goes all these different directions. So, like, are we confusing? Are we getting, like, totally manic about manifestation? And how do we stay on track? Those are a couple questions I threw in there.
Yeah, I think that we are getting too much in our head on how to manifest. I think it's the simpler, the better. I think that if you want a man a certain way and then you change your mind, it's because you have changed yourself, and that's why you want something different. So don't listen too much. Don't even listen to me. Do what feels right. Your body is the best tool to tell you what's right and what's wrong for you. So it's just doesn't mean that because you're sad or unhappy, you're gonna stop things from coming, because the life that you're living right now is the life that you created before. It's something that you wanted at some point and you manifested already, and this is it. So just be conscious of what you want, expect it, be grateful for it, knowing that it's coming, and let it go. And then continue doing your life. And if you want to change the order, change it. It doesn't matter. I always say that I go through life with a shopping cart. And when I see like a happy couple or something that I want to experience in my life, I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I'm putting that in my cart. And I bought it already. So I know it's coming. It's like an Amazon order. And I go through life like that, shopping.
And I love that you said that, because I think sometimes I've experienced this in the past where I'm like, my dream or what I want to manifest or my desire is so big. And when I'm not in a peak state one day, I'm going like, well, all right, that probably won't happen, but I guess I'll settle for this.
No.
You know what I mean? Where we dumb down, or not dumb down, but we take down our manifestation because we're not feeling as,
Right.
I would say that being tapped into to our highest self.
Yeah.
We often settle, or we go through those feelings of inadequacy or worthy and unworthiness.
Right. So those are things that happen to all of us, me included, every day. Even sometimes when I'm working and I'm channeling, I'm hearing myself saying, oh, who are you to do this? You're not good enough. And I'm like, listening to the guys, the people in my own fear. It's crazy, but we all do it. That's the human in us, right? So it's more about never make decisions out of fear, or lack. If you think you're not good enough, nothing that you're gonna make a decision in that moment is gonna be good. So just go back to your breath, breathe into your heart. And you're very wise. All of you are, everybody watching. We are all very wise. Connect to your higher self. That's the wise part of you. And just know that everything is okay and everything will always be okay, no matter what.
I love that. That's great. I've mentioned this in almost every video lately, but Michael Beckwith talks about the process is all my needs are met. And I listened to something he said yesterday or this morning, and it was not just all my needs are met externally, but he kind of clarified. I said, all my needs are met internally. All my needs are met.
Yeah. And also,
I love unconditionally. And I love that feeling of just knowing that all my needs are met.
Yeah. Everything that I need is within me now.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I was going to say something. Hold on. Oh, two things. What we want it because we think it's going to make us happy, right? So sometimes you have to get to know yourself. If you need to know exactly what you want, like I'm a general manifester in the human design, so I cannot be very specific. If I'm trying to be specific, I get really anxious. I don't like it. It's like I'm cutting my wings. So just learn what feels right to you. I can be very specific on the kind of men that I would like to manifest in my life. I can do that. But also I'm open. And I always say, I want God or universe or whatever, I want this or better. And every time that I ask for something, I said, for my highest good and everybody involved, right? Because we don't know much the way our spirit world knows. So they always know better than us. So ask them to choose the best for you. Because in the past, I have asked for things and I heard, are you sure you want that? And I said, yes, out of fear. And I paid it very expensively. So yeah, I learned to trust that.
That comes to mind to me is something that I came up with a while back, is this idea of when we're putting out things we want to manifest, is that or goals or whatever you want to call them. Some people have goals, some people have dreams, and you start writing them down, or you start saying, here's what I want, is that there's what we know, and there's what we don't know. And then there is what we don't know. And
Right.
I think that's where our higher self and our spirit guides know that. And
Yes.
so when we start getting really specific, sometimes I think I always say we're shortchanging ourselves. Because,
Yes.
so I
Absolutely.
love the way you said that I want this or better.
Yes.
I desire this or better, because that opens up to, like, I don't even know, surprise me. The Course in
Yes.
Miracles.
Yes.
It's like, with that is that, God, I need a miracle today. Surprise me. Show me what I'm not seeing. Help me to see
Mhm.
this differently. And that's something that is that when we open that up and say, surprise me,
Yeah.
then they go, okay, gotcha. All right. So she's not just wanting these little couple things here, that because we can do a whole lot more than this, but
Yeah.
she's opened it up. So she's asked
Yes.
for it. So let's just bring it to her. Let's just shower her with things she can't even imagine.
Yeah. And also make sure that you try to refrain from fear, because fear will stop anything good from coming.
Mm. And what are some practical tips? Like, 'cause, I wanted to go back about the body, because I learned that with my intuition and with working with Svetlana when we were in some of the other retreats we did, is that when I'm trusting my intuition, I get a feeling in my body.
Yes.
And so how do we know that, right? Is that when are there things we can do outside of the breathing
Yeah.
that maybe it's not time to make a decision, like you said, out of fear? And is it something like, how do we sense that feeling? Where does it come from?
Mhm.
And tell us the experiences that you've had about that first, and then I want to ask you another question.
So I think that everybody's different, and you have to learn to create a dictionary for yourself. So you can use like you do maybe with your husband that is not here anymore. I communicate with my husband through a number 5. You can do the same with your guides or your intuition, and say, okay, if I see a butterfly, it means this. If I see a bird this color, it means that. So whatever works for you. But also, like I was listening to one of your shows that you said that you get tingling sensations. That's, to me, is the way I feel I'm connecting to the spirit world. Sometimes I close my eyes, I just breathe deep, and I just imagine a light going through from heaven to earth through my body, and right away I feel this tingling sensation, to the point that sometimes it's like, I'm gonna say something that I never share, but it's funny. I feel like it's an orgasm without the sexual pleasure, but it's like that sensation of for a second.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine is like, it feels like when you're really cold and you jump into a hot bath, you know how
Mhm.
your body kind of tingles? It has
Yeah.
that feel.
Yeah.
And that I've had that since I was little. I've always had that feeling.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And
So just connect
I
to
can
that
also
feeling
command
more.
it. I've also can say, to comfort myself, I can bring that on, those tingles on with a
Yes.
on demand.
Yes. Yeah, but the
So,
breath, I think it's the easiest way. Connect
okay.
to your breathing. Breath
Okay.
is what connects us from spirit to body in a second.
Yeah. So how are some ways, like if we're dealing with, the thing about when we're feeling fear, or we're feeling at a low moment, other than breathing, maybe these things aren't working. Are there times that we can like check in and say, oh, you know what, I need to eat, or I need to sleep, I didn't sleep well? And what are some things that could prevent us, outside of just maybe busyness or not tapping in or not breathing, that could be just like, okay, let's write this off. Like I think Lisa Lieberman Wang says, what is it called again, where she says, Hilda, hungry, no, that's not Hilda, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Halt. It's halt. That was the thing. Have you heard her say that before?
No, never.
Halt. So it's like, okay, what's going on? If I can't seem to push through this right now, I can't seem to tap in. I'm just using it for this because I never thought of it this way before, but is it halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired? Okay, I got to step back and look, is it one of these? So that way I can correct my body temple, as Michael Beckwith calls it. And I've got to help my body temple and take care for that, do self-care. And then I'm able to be more present, to be able to tap in, because it could just be other things like this too, right?
Yeah. So I think I go back to every person is different, that you need to find the way to communicate with yourself, and to be aware that when you're cranky, or when you're something is not right, you're not feeling great. Okay, what do I need in this moment?
Mm.
Ask
Mhm.
yourself better questions. What do I need in this moment? And for me is sometimes just be barefoot on the ground, grounding. Grounding is very important. We are energy, and so we need to release that energy, and getting away from our head. That's something that is always a problem. When you're in your head, you're dead.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. And grounding is a good point. I forgot about that. That's really that
Yeah,
is
and
amazing.
just
How much
schedule
that helps.
time to be with yourself every day, even if it's 5 minutes. Take a date with yourself. For me, it's going to the beach and having, meditation time. But sometimes it's not even meditation. Sometimes it's just looking at the ocean and just be there. Sometimes I'm so cranky and angry that I cannot even meditate, and just by going there is my soothing moment. So just find what suits you, what makes you feel good. Take care of yourself, in a healthy way.
Okay, great. So it's asking, what is it I need? I do that a lot. Okay, what do you need, Joe? What do you need right now? And yeah, it's usually the answer comes up, and that's a very caring, it's a very comforting question, because we're nurturing ourselves, and that's really
Yeah.
special. I think that's really important.
Yeah. One more thing that I wanted to share about manifesting is that also as you grow, you change. And so, for example, things that I used to want, I don't want them anymore. Like a lot of money, or, my life has changed so much that my life became simpler and simpler and simpler, to the point that my kids are about to go to college in, this year, the twins, and next year, the other one. And I want just to get rid of all my belongings and just go and travel the world by myself or whoever, so you never know. And 5 years ago, I didn't know that, that I will want to do that. So just get to know you on a daily basis, because you're changing constantly. That's why I created Becoming Her, because we never stop becoming. We're always changing, evolving, so just be gentle with yourself and kind, and just do you. Everybody else is taken.
Well, everybody else is taken. Yes. And, I was actually going to ask you another question, which is kind of along the lines of this, is as we grow older and in midlife, does our connection to spirit guides does it evolve? Does it sharpen? Do
It's
we
up
have
to
a
you.
different?
It's up to you. It's like, it's like any relationship. If you nurture the relationship, it will grow. They will always be there, but you are the one who's going to decide how good your relationship is going to become with them. The more you talk to them, the more you learn to listen, the better.
Amazing. So I have another question for you, about to wrap up, but can you share your journey about how you became a spiritual life coach, and who are your mentors? I know we talked a little bit about your journey already, but how did your mentors influence your
Right.
path?
So I became a spiritual life coach after I went to that island, and I realized that I had this gift for a reason, the mediumship, and that thanks to being a Tony Robbins Platinum partner for so long, Tony has helped me and so many people in so many ways. And I learned that I'm a great coach, and using the mediumship to channel messages from the spirit world to coach someone into just, live their happier life. It's amazing. And Tony was a great mentor for me. Brian Weiss it's the person who started with past life regressions. He's God sent. He's amazing. He's like an angel. And I highly recommend past life regressions, because it really helps you, first of all, lose fear of dying, but also every lifetime that we have is connected to this one. So anything that you see in a past life regression, it clicks something in this lifetime and heals. So it's that has been amazing. Abraham Hicks, Deepak Chopra, they were all, mentors to me. And even people that, normal people, I think that there's a lot of angels between us, and it's important to learn to listen and to connect. For me, I'm a person that I hate small talk. I hate it, but I love getting to know you, your heart. Who are you? Why are you here? Why you came to do in this world? And I always ask these weird questions. People always look at me and I'm like, oh, that's really good question. I don't just, I'm really curious about who are you and how can we make this world better, you know? So I think it's important to open up and ask questions and be vulnerable and ask for help and for guidance. It's really important.
Well, this has been so enlightening. I tell you, as we wrap up, is there anything else that maybe we didn't touch on? Maybe is there like the most important thing to keep in mind as we're starting on our
Yeah.
spiritual path? What is one thing you could give someone to take away?
It's about life. You know, we are here for a very short time, and sometimes it feels like a very long time, but eventually we all go back home, whatever that means to you. It doesn't matter. You know, don't waste your time with fear and with guilt and all those yucky feelings. Life is more about experiencing and feeling and experiencing love. So find love and beauty in whatever that you can experience, you know?
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Lis, for being here today. I really appreciate you, and I love you so
Oh,
much.
I love
And
you.
yes, I look forward to seeing you soon
Yes.
somewhere. Hopefully we
And
will connect.
everybody watch Jill because she brings the most amazing people, including myself. And she's amazing. She's such an amazing person. I'm so happy you're doing this because I love your shows.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I appreciate you. Well, thank you everyone for watching today. Please definitely like, share, subscribe, share this with other people. Really, there's so much great content we're producing and we're getting out for you, and including Lis and others coming up soon. So stay tuned and definitely check out the community that I started as well. All the links are below, so you'll be able to get access to Lis and her social media, as well as her upcoming program.
Yes,
Right.
I'm always on Instagram at Suppolis, SUPPOLIS, or in my website, lissuppo.com. Thank you
Fantastic.
so much.
Thank you, dear. I love you. All
Bye.
right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Great now. Take care.